Hello, welcome you all. Today we are going to see how to perform linear static analysis for a transverse load using HyperMesh and OptiStruct solver. As you can see me in my previous video, I have explained how to perform linear static analysis for a tensile load. So now let's get started. In this video, basically we are going to see how to perform linear static analysis using FEA method and the same thing using analytical method, and we finally going to compare it how it is different from the analytical versus FEA method and which one is better. Now let's get started. This is going to be what is the step-by-step process in linear static analysis. You can see here Newton law of motion, which for a linear static analysis it will be stiffness matrix into displacement vector and is equal to force vector. This is our basic governing equation, and you can see here our geometric model we are going to consider, which is cantilever beam fixed at one end, and we are going to apply a transverse load in the free end. The cross section will be a of width and b of thickness and l of length, and it will be having maximum displacement at the free end, as you can see here. So our first step is to calculate the stiffness matrix of the model. As you can already know, the FEA, we will split the field into multiple elements to find the solution. So we will consider this structure will be divided into multiple elements, and then we'll calculate the individual stiffness matrix for each element and then combine them into the global stiffness matrix to find the global stiffness value. Our second step is to calculate displacement value. The transverse load, the displacement formula is equal to FL cube by 3EI. The F value will be our applied force, L is the length of the beam, and E is Young's modulus, which will give us material input, and then I is a sectional property, which will be automatically calculated by the software. As a third step, we'll calculate the strain value. As you know, the strain is equal to change in length like displacement by original length, and then the fourth step is stress value, which will be our Hooke's law, stress equal to Young's modulus of strain. So this is how FEA software will solving the problem. Now we will see how to perform this kind of activity in the software HyperMesh. I'll open the software HyperMesh 19, and now I'll create a node in the graphics panel with the coordinates 0 0. Then I'll create a surface in plane option, x axis for a 10 mm size. So I'll create a 10 by 10 surface here. Okay, now I'll drag this surface up to 40 mm length. Can go to drag lines to surface, select, and I'll drag it in the direction of Z axis to the length of 30 mm. So totally my beam length is around 30 mm. I'll toggle this line in order to it may not disturb me in future. Okay, now I'll go to the auto mesh panel to mesh this surface. I'll fix element size as 3 and keep it as mixed. Okay, Now I'll rename this component name as beam. I'll create a material property. Sorry, right click, create material. So I'm going to consider this beam element as steel. So I'll rename this material name as steel, and I'll keep this HyperMesh default steel property X models as 2,10,000 and density and Poisson ratio as same as the default value, and then I'll create a property with a thickness of 3 mm thickness. I'll assign the material to the property, and then I'll assign this property to the component which I created earlier. So to cross verify whether we correctly update the property, you can choose the 2D representation view to confirm we have applied the correct property. Okay, now I'll create another component called rigid. The rigid element will be used to give input transverse load, which will be equally distribute our load into all four nodes. So first I'll create a node and translate it to 3 mm in the direction of Z, and then I'll go to rigid and create independent node as the translated node, and keep dependent node as in the beam all four nodes. So I'll have a rigid element like this. Then I'll create a load collector. For First, I'll create a load collector called SPC. So now I'm going to constrain the beam element in the one side, go to analysis, and then select constraints and select the four nodes on the other side, and make sure you selected all degrees of freedom, and keep the load type as SPC and create a constraint. So the one side is constrained well as we want to, and create another load collector called force. So I'm going to give force of 100 Newton, go to analysis and force, and select the node, independent node of the rigid, and select the direction x-axis. I'm going to provide the minus x-axis, so I'll provide minus of 100, and make sure you have fixed the correct load type force. Okay, now we have created the load. Now I'll create a load step and name it as linear static. So change the analysis step to linear static, and select a SPC load collector for SPC, and for load I'll select force load collector. Now the output we may need a displacement, stress and strain values. I'll tick all those outputs. Now I'll save this file. Now I'll go to analysis and OptiStruct option. By pressing OptiStruct option, I'll going to solve this problem using pre-installed OptiStruct solver in the system. So the problem has already solved. I'll press result button to open the result H3D file. I'll go to the contour panel. I'll select display component and keep displacement value. Press apply. So I'm having the maximum displacement at the free, and you can see the displacement value uh, is maximum 0.5 mm at the free end. I'll check my secondary field variable stress value, select components displayed, and this one mesh is stress, and everything value are simple, and the maximum stress value is at the fixed end. It is around 256 megapascal. So coming back to the PowerPoint slide. So now we are going to see how this similar problem is solved in using analytical method. We have inputs like length of beam length is 40 mm, width is 10 mm, and the thickness of the beam is 3 mm, and the materials Young's modulus is 210,000 Newton per mm square, and the value applied is sorry, it is 100 newtons, not 500, in the transverse direction. The applied load is 100 newtons in the transverse direction. So you can see here is our given input and the structure similar to what we did in the FA section. With the cross section of 10 mm by 3 mm and the length of 40 mm, I'm applying a force, a transverse force of 100 newtons. So we will have a displacement like first we will calculate the sectional cross sectional properties like I and Y. We have a predefined formula for this transverse load, BH cube by 12. So we'll get a I value as 22.5 and Y value as 1.5 mm, which is half of the thickness of the beam. So the second step, we will calculate the moment value. Usually the bending related problem, we need to have a moment value which is force into length of the beam. Here it is 40,000 Newton meter, sorry, 4,000 Newton meters, Newton millimeters. So as a third step, we'll calculate the displacement value. The formula we already know, FL cube by 3EI. So we'll substitute F value, force value, and we know the length of the beam. The Young's modulus value and the geometrical I value we also know. We'll get a displacement of 0.45 mm, and we'll have a bending stress formula My by I. We know the moment value, and Y and I value we already know. So we'll substitute all those values and we'll get a stress value of 266 megapascal. Okay, now I'm going to compare this analytical value with the FEA value we perform the analysis. So the displacement value in the FEA method will have a displacement of 0.55 mm, which is 0.1 mm difference from the analytical value we calculated. And the stress value we have FEA, it is around 255 megapascal, and the analytical value is around 266 megapascal. So in summary, we are comparing both the analytical and the FEA results. The displacement value is 0.1 mm 0.1 mm higher than the analytical value in the FEA, and the stress value is 10 megapascal is lesser than the analytical result. This the difference is might be due to the element size and or some other additional factors. So for this simple kind of loading system, we mostly prefer to solve in the analytical and calculation method. If you have additional force and for complex system, we'll go for the FA result for accurate for more accuracy. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe our channel to support more. Thank you.